A killer whale once carried her calf for 17 days across the ocean after it stopped breathing. She could have let go at any moment. She didn't. In 2018, a southern resident killer whale known as Tahlequah gave birth to a calf that died shortly after birth. For more than 2 weeks, she kept the body near the surface, pushing it with her head, balancing it, lifting it again when it slipped beneath the water. The journey covered hundreds of miles. Every movement cost energy. Every dive made the body harder to keep. In the open ocean, nothing was forcing her to continue, but she did. Scientists were careful with the word grief. They could measure the behavior, the duration, the physical cost. What they could not do was enter the mind of the whale and ask what she understood. That is the problem at the center of this question. When an animal loses its baby, does it understand the loss? Or does the body keep caring after the mind has no way to accept what happened? A 2016 review of toothed whales documented adults carrying calves and juveniles after death across multiple species, including killer whales, sperm whales, pilot whales, and several dolphins. The pattern was rare, but not isolated. In some cases, the adult kept the body at the surface. That detail matters. A living calf must breathe. A mother who supports it at the surface may be doing the most basic thing a whale mother can do: keep the baby from sinking. But when the calf no longer breathes, the behavior can continue. The care remains after the response is gone. And Tahlequah was not the only animal to face that impossible contradiction. Off Madeira Island, researchers documented free-ranging Atlantic spotted dolphins supporting newborns after death at the surface. Adults stayed close, pushing or lifting the bodies through the water. To human eyes, it looks like refusal, but biologically, it may begin as care. A newborn dolphin at the surface is alive because someone keeps it there. When the newborn no longer responds, the same behavior can keep running, as if the maternal system has not yet received the final message. The infant is not moving, but the infant is still present, and in the ocean, presence may be enough to keep care alive. In primates, the question becomes harder to avoid because the behavior is no longer just rare field footage, it becomes a pattern. A 2021 study compiled 409 published cases across 50 primate species in which mothers responded to the deaths of their infants. Many carried the body for hours, days, weeks, or even months. This was not one famous whale. It was monkeys and apes, across species, climates, and social systems, facing the same impossible object, an infant that is still there, but no longer alive. In chimpanzees in Uganda's Budongo forest, researchers documented mothers carrying infants after death. Some carried them for 1 to 3 days. Others carried them for more than 2 weeks. One mother carried her infant for nearly 3 months. But the most important part was not only the duration, it was the change. Over time, the body was no longer held exactly like a living infant. Mothers sometimes carried it by a limb, dragged it, groomed it, inspected it, or allowed other group members to approach. That change matters because it suggests something more complicated than simple denial. The mother may not be treating the infant as alive, but she is not treating it as meaningless either. Some scientists think dead infant carrying may help mothers process the loss gradually. Others argue it may reflect maternal attachment, hormones, age, experience, or the way the infant died. The 2021 primate study found that mothers were more likely to carry infants when the loss was not sudden and when the mother was younger. That detail is difficult to ignore. If the infant is lost suddenly, the body may be left sooner. If the decline is slower, the mother may carry it longer. As if the mind has more time to keep reaching for what the body has already lost. Elephants change the question again. They do not always carry the body. Sometimes, the group comes to it. A 2022 study used public video records to examine rare thanatological behavior in Asian elephants. Researchers documented elephants touching calves after death with trunks and feet, standing near the body, guarding it, and sometimes attempting to lift or move it. The body of the calf was not ignored. It became the center of attention. An elephant's trunk contains dense sensory ability. When an elephant touches a calf again and again, it is not a casual movement. It is examination. In some videos, adults appeared agitated. In others, they stood close in silence. The behavior varied, but one thing remained clear. Death did not make the calf disappear from the social world immediately. It changed how the group related to it. That is different from the whale, different from the dolphin, different from the primate mother carrying the body alone. In elephants, loss can become social. A body on the ground can draw attention from others who did not give birth to it, as if the death belongs to more than one animal. And then there are rats. They give us no ocean journey, no circle of elephants, no mother carrying a body for weeks. They give us something colder, a measurable trace. In a 2024 study, researchers examined what happened to rat mothers after losing all pups one day after birth. The loss changed stress coping behavior. After 6 days, mothers showed increased passive stress coping, and researchers found changes in brain systems linked to maternal behavior and oxytocin. No one needed to decide whether the rat understood death like a human. The loss had already entered the biology. The body had changed. The brain had changed. The mother did not need language for the absence to become real. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.